crumbles to dust. Wherever I tread, rot consumes the just. Space hulks reek of a foul rebirth, carriers of plague across the cursed earth. Beneath the flies, beneath the filth, I spread the plague with a twisted will. From festering wounds, corruption grows in the heart of death. God, where despair flows. I am the harbinger, the bringer of disease. In whose name I spread death with ease. Pestilence walks with me hand in hand.
Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Disgustingly Resilient podcast, and that is me showing me. That is the wrong thing. Screen, quickly, go away. There we go. That is the wrong screen right there. Wait, that screen, there we go. Excellent. You know, we just had a streamception there where you could see streams within streams within streams within streams. So yeah, hello everybody, welcome. Obviously I am on my own today, as you can see. Dave is preoccupied getting a new job, and Will is picking up some extra shifts at Element Games, which is, you know, nice, awesome. I'm happy for, obviously, Dave, and I'm obviously, you know, Will's free to go and get his extra shifts in. So no real problem there. Obviously just mean that you're just stuck with me tonight, so help me out, chat. I'm going to run out of content in about 5 minutes flat. So we're gonna have a bit of a different one. Obviously, normally it's me, Will, and Dave having a chat together, sort of interacting with the chat here and there. But obviously tonight, with it just being myself, it's up to me and you guys to do the hard carrying. So we have got a few things we're gonna cover tonight. Obviously, there has been, you could say, a balanced data slate. There has been a balanced data slate update to the game of Warhammer 40,000, so which we will cover and I'll give my opinions on. I'm not gonna go too crazy into it because you know, we're all aware at this point what it is, and we will cross that bridge, but I don't want to just rag on that for an hour tonight because it's just going to put me in a bad mood. So we are also going to try and look at an RTT list that I'm going to be taking to a tournament over the weekend. I have two booked. One is going to be for the Votan that I'm taking, so we've got Votan I'm taking to an event, but I am also taking Death Guard to a different event, so we're going to have a bit of experience with both factions there, which would be cool. So, you know, try a different list, try different things out, start to learn things, which is really cool. So, yeah, with all that being said, again, if you want to help the channel grow, please leave a like and a subscribe. I'm trying to think of all the stuff Dave normally does for me now. So leave a like and subscribe if you really want to help the channel grow. Consider becoming a Plague Marine member from as little as $2.99 a month. And you get access to our amazing Discord for life and all the goodies that come with that. Probably one of the most active faction-specific Discords out there, which is awesome. Right, so let me have a think now. There is one other thing. Yes, so one other thing I wanted to talk about very quickly is... so I have been doing a little bit of work, so it's like a sneaky peek a bit, for Fireside 40k. So everyone doesn't know Fireside 40k is hosted by David Gaylord and Vic VJ, which people in the UK probably know, but obviously a board might not be common names, but they are two very well-known tournament players over here. Now they have actually recently launched an app, sort of gaming aid for 40k. So it's called Atlas Mobile, so as you can see here. I'm not going to go too much into it, but I just wanted to point out, because basically it is an app to basically help players sort of learn matchups, and so obviously you can see it's more teams focused. It has like a big grid here of all sort of like matchups you can get and stuff to break down. It has them all break down. You can pick up, you obviously we go to Death Guard here, and let's have a look. Death Guard versus let's say Guard, which is a very bad matchup for us. If you click this, you look at that, look, it's me! So I've done some work for these guys, basically writing up what I believe, sort of like a quick description of the matchups, and the idea of this app being that people can either like go and get the free version to have a quick look at it. They have a pro version as well, where it has loads of extra features. Check out Fireside 40k's own YouTube channel. They have a much better breakdown of it. But basically the idea is if you're interested in teams or just interested in looking at matchups, this is here, and I've written all of the Death Guard perspectives for all these things. And the cool thing is you also get the other person's perspective. So you can see here David's perspective on the matchup, him being a Guard player, and you got my perspective up here. And I can basically, this is me telling you you're absolutely boned and how to play for a small loss, because it's obviously focused on teams. But it does look at some strengths that, you know, potentially we can do, and, you know, obviously the weaknesses. So it's just a cool little thing that you guys could, you know, if you're interested in maybe, you know, giving teams a go, and you're not very good at pairings, or you maybe just want to see how your matchups go. I am still in the process of filling in ours, because I'm not gonna kind of spoil it you a bit, boys. So this was you see, like this you didn't have, this was all I needed to do. So, you just have a nice little overview very quickly, some key points, key turn. But knowing me and me Death Guard ways, I did kind of, go a little heavier because I always like to give it my all. So, yeah. That's something I've been working on with. So it's just launched into a sort of it's like first release version. It's been updated with more stuff. So if you are interested in it, give it a check out. Because I put some effort into it, and it'd be cool to see if you guys enjoy it and get any use out of it. So yeah, again, if you want more information, check out their recent video. It was on the Balanced Data Slate. Where they basically spend the first 20 minutes talking about this app that they've made, so you can go check it out there, which is awesome. But yeah, it just helps show that a little bit of support and makes me be valuable to them. I don't know if valuable is the word, but yeah, it's just a cool little thing that I thought I'd sort of share to you there. Right, main thing, right. Yes, I am getting involved, Dan. I am basically working in, filling in all of the, yeah, I will put it in a thing. I am working on filling in all of the Death Guard content. There we go. There is obviously, this is, that's 40k, something like that. This is obviously going to be a, not that, let's check down here, that's what I'm after. There we go. Let's put it in there. So you can go check them out if you're interested in it at all. But like I said, yeah, I am working on filling out the Death Guard content more for it. I only got into it literally. Some people have been writing for it for like a month or two. This has literally happened off the back of playing him at Manchester, so I've not had as much time to fill things in for people. But as you can see, I've got a fair few matchups already filled in. Some of them I've got games lined up to play because I've not really T-Sons I've not played against in a while. And the data is because it also compares to tournament data. Like this is saying it's a tool based on tournament data. I haven't played that matchup in a while, so I need to go play it before I can obviously fill it in. But yeah, it's just a cool little tool. So if you're interested, check it out. If not, don't worry about it. Right, meat and potatoes. So Todd, that is the app that is being developed by Fireside 40k, which is basically based around looking at matchup pairings and things like that to help players get better at pairing themselves and expected results for teams, and basically just a quick little app that can do all the little thing for you, which is win. Yeah, so there's the win rate data, Todd. There's win rate data, and then there's a pros perspective, because actually sometimes the actual tournament data or even the pros how they think it should play out doesn't actually match reality, and that helps you sort of compare them side by side, because I can feel very comfortable in some matchups where the data actually says it's not that good for us, but it's just because I got comfortable with that matchup and I know how to beat it. So the idea being that with that information you can learn how to beat it, and then so on and so forth. So yeah, right. Main show though, because I'm not here to be obviously ranting and chilling. I'm here to be ranting. So how's Death Guard's matchup into GW? What GW itself, the corporate entity? Well, we'll talk about it now, because we obviously had a Munitorum field manual. So this is, for all intents and purposes, the final ever Balanced Data Slate of 10th edition. Now, that is not explicitly been said, but it is pretty much a guaranteed guess, because the expectations right now are that Adepticon at the end of this month is where 11th edition will be announced, and once that is announced, then obviously it's all gas on 11th edition, not so much for 10th edition anymore. So with that being said, precedents kind of have been set. So in the past, Balanced Data Slates towards the end of edition, for those who are new here and maybe new to the game, they kind of went a little wacky, and sometimes it wasn't always for the sake of balance, but what it did definitely do is it said, hey guys, there's 3 months to the end of this edition, you've got to worry about, towards the end of edition there's burnout anyway, people have already been playing the edition for 2 years at this point, they're ready for something new. So what they used to do is they used to just inject some absolute nonsense into the game to just make it wild and crazy. So previously, in the previous edition, you used to have force organization, where you basically mandatorily had to bring, battle line units, HQs, and that would get you command points unlocked and all this stuff. And the very last patch for that edition, they brought out a data slate, or a season of war they called it back then, which basically said, fuck that. They just threw it all away. You can take whatever you want. You don't get punished for spamming elites. You don't get punished. Just create any army you want. And it was Wild West for a bit. And the thing is, Wild West is crazy and it's not always balanced. But the Wild West, for when it's new and before it gets figured out, is fun because everyone's going crazy, everyone's trying new things, and towards the end of an edition, you don't really care if after a month or two it starts to get figured out because you know the game's ending in like 2 months after that, so it's not really an issue. So you kind of just go, it was fun for a bit, and then it all went crazy. So, that was that. Now, opposite that's happened this time is they made an article where basically said, the game's in a great place. Spoiler alert, no it's not. But they said it was. Now, I will caveat this all up front by saying, technically, sort of. The game is in the best state where basically every faction has a chance to win something. You can go local GTs, things like that. And it is true. This is your armies in general, past some very few exceptions like Imperial Age, stuff like that, are much more able to compete than in previous editions. I will not take that away from them. However, there was a big problem according to this Dataslate with the top armies of the game being a little too much on top. That was Space Marines, that was Astra Militarum, and that was Necrons were sat right at the top. And everyone else had decent play, and there were some armies that were genuinely struggling. Grey Knights have been struggling, Imperial Agents have been struggling, things like that. But roughly everything was playable. The entire game was, however, being warped by Necrons more than anything, but Space Marines and Guard were oppressive too. But Necrons Catan datasheet has caused a lot of damage to the game, because it's basically put a hard line in the sand where you either play an army or a list, for example, that can deal with Catan, in which case you can compete and do okay, or you have an army or a list that can't deal with Catan, in which case, good luck, because you're going to run into one because they're so damn popular. And if you run into one, you ain't got a chance. It just stat checks you so hard. And you are stat checked by the fundamental Catan datasheet. Now that's important to remember as we go on. The fundamental Catan datasheet, ignore all the bullshit, ignore all the attachments, the fundamental stats and rules on that datasheet were the things stat checking people. So that was causing a big problem where the game was basically split down the middle of armies that can deal with Catan and armies that can't. And Death Guard, in its traditional build, which is VV, falls firmly in the can't. Virulent Vectorum is awful against Catan. It has a 27 or 26% win rate. And I know that because I was looking into the data to make my entry for that app that we were just looking at. I had to just go and make sure, my thoughts on the matchup actually was backed up by facts and stats. And yes, it's horrendous. It's a very bad matchup for Virulent Vectorum. And that's why recently, you haven't noticed, we have seen Death Guard actually pulling below 50% win rate, 47%, 46%. It's not good out there for us boys, and that's because our main detachment, and the way a lot and the majority of Death Guard players are playing, is hard countered by the best army in the game, which also happens right now to be the most popular army in the game. Now, isn't all doom and gloom for Death Guard. I will say, Champions of Contagion has a better win rate into it, and Taliban, funnily, absolutely dunks on it. Taliban has something like a 70% win rate, and Champions is near like 54% win rate. So we do have play into it, but our traditional list does not, at all. And there are armies out there, like, for example, Grey Knights, who don't have the option to switch detachment. Like, Grey Knights cannot win that game. They fundamentally cannot, because they just cannot kill Catan. And the Catan will sit on the middle, kill anything that comes near it, and it will just win the game on primary. There's nothing the Great Player can do. Especially with Necrosaur giving their entire army a 5-up feel no pain against all the Grey Knight weapons. Because don't forget, Grey Knight weapons all have the Psychic keyword, and Amanatar has an aura, a 12-inch aura of 5-up feel no pain against Psychic. So even if your Dread Knight comes down to shoot a Doomsday Arc, it's a 4-up invuln and a 5-up feel no pain now. Army wide, as long as they're near that dude. Pretty grim. Pretty grim. So that needed fixing. Now on top of that, let me quick sip. Space Marines are obviously doing incredibly well. Ultramarines have been eating good all past patches now. They have so many good characters that are kind of absurd. Oaths is broken, fundamentally. Doctrines and Oaths together, too good of a combo or a rule set. Any player that's got a good modicum of skill will absolutely thrive with that style of playstyle. And the problem is, that also gets any other playstyle of Marines and chokes it. You can't play Imperial Fist, you can't play Iron Hands, you can't play Salamanders. As long as you're balanced, you're on the same... But Salamanders actually have a list that's doing okay. But everything else is absolutely throttled to death by the power of Ultramarines, because they're one and the same, you can't nerf one without hurting the other, as we'll get to see. So, and then Guard is just too good. Guard is just, in general, too good. Guard's win rate is constantly sandbagged, because Guard has a player base And it's not an insult to this player base, but there is a player base of guard that play guard because it's guard. They're not trying to play competitive, they're not trying to win. They're just playing guard because they love guard. And they'll take a million conscripts, a million tanks. They don't care if they win or lose. CSM has the same problem. CSM's actually a very good army. It's a very high skill cap army. But there's a lot of people that just play CSM because they think it's cool. It's like the Chaos Guard. So those win rates are always sandbagging, but it's also incredibly powerful and has just way too much stuff going for it at the moment. It's too many guys, too many bodies, too many tanks, all this kind of stuff. So, yeah, it's not great. So, GW comes along with its final data slate, and a lot of us have expectations that Necrons are going to get fixed, Ultramarines are going to get fixed, and Guards going to get fixed. And then they'll buff, like, obviously armies that are struggling, or at least, you know, change things to the point where it's going to make things interesting. Because we know, for like, most of the developers are going to be on 11th edition. Like, so, when I know people like, I'm not going to blame Josh Roberts here, because he's probably on 11th edition, completely. He's probably nothing to do with his final balance update. Part being the face of balance, that is it. So, again, not going to call out names, but what we got, as we'll have a quick... I'm not going to go for every change, but as you can just see, literally nothing for sisters. Nothing changed. I am sure there are units on here that I've never seen play, never will see play, and I still consider terrible. Like, could we not have dropped mortifiers by 5 points a model? Like, is that not something we could have done? Like, again, there's... So, apparently, according to them, you know, sisters are in a perfect spot. Okay, Custodies got a buff that got given to them last patch undone, which makes no sense. Like, why did you buff them in the first place to then just undo it? But sure, okay, because here's the thing. Also, the funny thing part about this is they're not the problem. The problem is the triple Land Raider build. So, nerfing the Custodian Guard is not going to fix the problem. They've just lost, like, 2 models, that's it. And the Custodians are still going to be taking the triple Land Raider, that's the thing. Mechanicus struggling again. God help these guys. How many buffs can you give an army before it starts breaking? But again, like, could we not have dropped the Scatros dude, little sniper boy? Could we not have dropped the, you know, the Onagers? Just anything at this point. Just make stuff crazy. Aeldari got some weird drops on. But this is what I mean. This is a bit that annoys me as well. Why did we do it for some factions but not? Like, that's what I don't understand with the data slate. So, we have Aeldari here, and Asmund goes up, not 100% sure why, but probably because he fire and fades and they're just sick of that rule. But, like, in here, we see a tiny bit of effort, a tiny bit, to drop Wraiths down. But why? Like, we still have, like, other tanks that are, like, unplayable. Like the vehicles are not very good, like the Viper and stuff like that. So, we drop Wraith Blades, and that's cool, and I 100% think this is good. This is good. I want to see units like this. And towards the end of edition, this is a great time for people to get out these unknown models, these unused models. So drop them in points. Excellent, happy. But why do we do it for that, but we don't do it for anything up here? Is this like, I just don't understand how we give attention to some armies and not. Astra Militarum, again, the Rogel Dawns go up 10 and a 50 in a commander. It's not the problem with Grizzled Company. The problem is just too many bloody infantry that hit way too hard for the points cost. Like Kazakin are 110 points. Kill anything they pretty much look at. And, yeah, okay, they die straight afterwards, but who cares? It's always trading up. Whatever. Again, tons of units here that I don't ever see play. Could have got drops, and they don't. Black Templars, they needed more help. Like, god damn it. Like, drop a Land Raider Crusader or something. Maybe 5 points off a Storm. Like, just anything. But then, again, Blood Angels. So, Blood Angels, again, Astref off 10. Cool. And Blood Angels actually got a rules change where they can now attach a Sanguinary Priest, a model that was never taken, to Blade Guard Veterans. Now, that actually is pretty cool. That's actually really good. I love when we see changes like that. Points can't fix everything. Like, obviously, they can get to a point where something's just points to wounds efficient, but there's a lot of units that, even if you went down 10, will still be useless. But making something work differently, fundamentally, is great. I love to see that. But again, why do we only see it for one faction out of all of them? Like, Sanguinary Priest is now playable. That is awesome. We might see some Sanguinary Priest on the table. I love that. And it's not for my army. That's very cool. But, like, why can't we have that? Why can't we, you know, have a different character be able to join, like, Poxwalkers, for example? Why can't Lord of Poxes join Poxwalkers or anything like that? I don't know. You tell me. Why can't we do that? Demons, again, the big demons go up because we buff something and then fuck it up. So the big demons go up. But again, how many of these models do you actually see play? How long have demons been stuck in 5 greater demon spam and everything else be useless? When's the last time you saw, like, you know, any of the chariot models? When's the last time you saw, you know, just some at random models, like, you know, where do we see, like, Seekers of Slanesh, for example? Where do we see, you know, Skull Cannons, things like that, just been irrelevant for so long and just nothing happens. All the Herald models are completely pointless. Why don't we change anything? Enhancements are another great example. Why do we barely change them? But this one gets 15 up on it because, again, it's being oppressive. There was no real effort to buff much, just to nerf the top. But then, as we'll get to it, again, Chaos Knights, nothing. Chaos Space Marines, nothing. These guys did get a change, though. You can now no longer take Pact Marines, so like God-specific units like Plague Marines, Noise Marines, Berserkers, in their new Renegade detachment. And here's the thing. They cited this as not a change for rules, for balancing, even though it is a bit, because it was quite strong. But it's also a change to the rules for the fluff. A fluff rules change, okay? Bear this in mind. So they can't take Cult Marines because Cult Marines wouldn't serve in Renegades. Okay, that's fine. We can make. Look, I'm fine if you want to make balance changes for fluff. That's fine. We just got to be consistent with it. So I'm sure we'll be consistent with it. Dark Angels is nothing again. Death Guard again. Like, did you just go down this list and you were like, this one here, no one runs this 15 down? Like, because if you're gonna do that, why not do it with anything that doesn't get ran? The Annihilator's dog shit. Just drop it. Drop it down. Predator Destructors barely see play. Drop that down. That could go to 135. This could go to like 120 for all I care, the Annihilator. Or rework the rule. I mean, we're very blessed. We are very, very blessed. We are very blessed that our codex is one of the better internally balanced, which is always weird, because I always see other channels say, Death Guard's internal balance is terrible, it's just Death Shroud. I'm like, have you actually played this army? Because we have a lot of good units. We have a lot of good units, which is always funny to me when I hear that. So, again, like, could the Hellbrute not have been dropped 5 points? It's just loads of little things. And more the enhancement side, I think, as well. Like, Cornucophagus is still an abomination. Needle of Nerve could come down. This could easily be 20 points. This could easily be, like, 10, 15 points. Just drop things to make it, like, you know, a bit more fun. Give us just new builds to try, just for the end edition. Because, again, worst case scenario, 11th edition comes out, you release it all with new points anyway, so you just put everything back up if you really bollocks it up. And, you know, people were taking Needle and Nurgle all the time, which, again, they wouldn't, but they still, if you did, just fix it then. Just let us have some extra play. But instead, only thing we got is Demon Prince and Nurgle with wings down 15. It's better. He's okay. Like, he's not very good in terms of, like, rules-wise, but I will say the ability to fly around, 15 points cheaper. You can give him an enhancement now, which bring him back to his original cost, so it feels less bad to put an enhancement on him, and you can have something that's T11, flies decently fast, and smacks something, which is pretty nice. That's pretty cool. Check my super chats. Let's have a look. Birchie, thank you very much for the $4.99 super chat. To be fair, GW is probably all hands on deck for 11th edition. 100% agreed. So they most likely just had 2 interns from the Dataslate. Now that is very true, and I get that. But I also feel like it's not an excuse. You are a multi-million pound company at this point. You make dough. You make bank, baby. You do not have an excuse to just have all hands on for 11th edition, because your product is still in the hands of people right now. And I will get to the more egregious. Like, this stuff could be forgiven. This stuff could all be forgiven. Don't buff Death Guard, whatever. But it's what you refuse to do on top of it that made it worse, and then something else you did, as we'll get to. But yeah, I get it's probably all on for 11th edition, but I just don't feel like... I don't feel like letting the $1 million company off the hook because 11th edition's coming. Like, you don't, like, just forget about your current thing that's literally being played and supported right now. Like, it is important to still keep that thing going. And it was just very disappointing because there was a lot of hope on this, and it's just not. So, yeah. $5 Canadian super chat from Mr. Strongboy, Mr. Christopher Latta. A warband changed clearly because a GW dev got butt hurt by Noise Marines while they were playing Ultramarines. Yeah, that would be pretty funny. To be fair, it probably is someone got slammed by it and was just like, not having that in your game, and then nerfed it. I wouldn't be surprised. So yeah, 15 points down Deeper's Wing. Does it change anything? Like, if you were really, like, interested, I know Don Houston's obviously having a great time. He's just made 45 points in his list, but most people weren't running this model anyway. Does the 15-point drop really make me want to use this model? Not really. But it's more, you know, maybe there's an interesting place for him, like, as like a smash character if you give it a decent, you know, melee enhancement. Fly around and have fun with it. I'll take it over nothing. Some factions literally got nothing. So I'm just going to skip the rest of these here, because again, it's just, again, small things, nothing really changes. Nothing changes fundamentally builds here. at all. New Votan character is 110 points, which is overcosted for what he is. You could just get 5 Berserkers instead and have a bit of change. I will let this off. I would rather a character come out and be a bit too expensive, and then you tone him down rather than a character coming out and break the game, because I'm sure that's not going to happen. But you know, we'll see. Oh, sorry about that. Nurgle's bloody allergies. Right, so Necrons. Here we go. So this is the one that it was kind of. This is the one that was kind of a lot of hope was on. And that was that Necron Catans either needed to go up a lot of points or fundamentally have a change to their rules. No change was done to Catan datasheet itself, which means the problem of the datasheet still remains massively. You either deal with it or you can't. So, what was the fix of it to change the points? They did change the points. They went up 10 points. 10 points. For a datasheet that is literally warping the entire game around it. Yeah, okay. Sure, I guess. And Necrosaur went up 20 points. That's probably more fair. But again, 10 points for Laser Catan. And then for some reason, down here, they slapped 15 points on each Pantheon detached enhancement. Because everyone's like, oh, okay, so when people are spamming Catan, it's clearly the Pantheon of Woe detachment. No, it's not, you dumbass. Go check the data. The Pantheon of Woe is an absolute mid-table bully, no doubt. But the problem here is the Catan funda-fucking-mentally, you dumbass. Like, Jesus Christ, it's not hard to look at that data sheet and realise that it is problematic to your game. And slamming 15 points in a detachment that wasn't even the best detachment means that when they're taking the detachment that was the best detachment isn't really a nerf. They only went up 10 points. Now, I know people are thinking, oh, but Necrosaur and the Silent King no longer benefit monsters. That wasn't what made them good. Like, it helped make them even more stupid, and obviously the strats working and made them ridiculous in Star Strata, but guess what? They were doing amazing in Awakened Dynasty as well, because the datasheet fundamentally is a problem to the game. Like, again, the question is not, can you deal with reactive move in Catan? Can you deal with Pantheon War Catan? No, the problem is, can you kill a Catan? If the answer equals no, without investing your entire army into it, you are not going to be able to compete in the game at the moment while Necrons are at the top. Fact. Like, period. The end. So, now there are obviously ways to play around it. You can play to outscore them, but the problem is, fundamentally, it changes. Everyone's list has to be designed with Catan in mind. Whether that's a plan to outscore them or a plan to kill them. It's just really annoying. And it's really annoying to have to. I do VT list analysis videos. I obviously do people's, plague surgery. And every time I make a list, I am so sick of having to say, how does it deal with Catan? Because they're fundamentally warping the game. So, the worst bit here is if you were playing Necrons in Awakened Dynasty, for example, which was doing really, really well, showing one of the strongest builds, you have dodged all of the Star Shatter nerfs. You've probably dodged the Silent King nerf. Again, if you ran him. If you don't, oh well, you can't benefit from +2 move. Woo! You've dodged all these. The only thing you've suffered from is if you took 2 Catan, your list has gone up 20 points. That is it. An S tier army got nerfed 20 points. Drop an enhancement, done. Sure, GW. Okay. I would rather have them erred on the side of absolute annihilation and just got Catans out of the game to make sure people can have a fun last 3 months. But unfortunately, listen, what's worse, Catan or Knights from last summer? Catan, 100%. I hate Knights. I hate Knights with a passion as well. But the thing is, when you connect to a Knight, you could still kill it. Like, again, we had crit 5s, kill all that stuff there. The problem with Catan is they're so obnoxious. Because as well, like, even if you went into a Knight and you spent all your CP and you failed to kill it, the damage stays. The damage sticks. Here, especially in, like, Awakened Dynasty, you can have Catan, get 3d3 wounds back. 3d3 wounds back. Like, just in a turn like that. Necrons, so, people don't know why I hate Necrons so much. It's because Necrons fundamentally are miserable to play against. Because Necrons literally win the game because they fundamentally, at its core, you bounced. That's it. It's so much more frustrating when you just have a turn of cold dice, and with Necrons, Any damage you did do is fully undone, then you lose the damage dealers, and then the snowball effect begins. But I've had opposite games where my opponents put Necron Warrior Brick on the middle, and I've one-tapped it with Plague Marines, then I've ran over the entire game. The entire game hinges on like a single moment where you either kill them or you don't, and that is it. It is not skill, it is not outplaying, and Catan are the worst examples of this. The Catan sits on the middle objective. You either have to expend resources to auto-see it, which again can be denied by the Catan being in certain places and stopping you getting on it easily, or them putting more OC on it, things like that. But fundamentally, you have to deal with that Catan. If you then decide, this is my moment, I'm going to, like, VV's has this massive problem. The VV player steps out, they shoot absolutely everything at it, and the Catan lives, and they didn't have a follow-up charge, or they couldn't, get it finished. And even if they do, you've exposed, like, 1,500 points of your army to kill a 300-point model, and you're about to get shot by the other 1,700 points of Necrons. And as soon as you lose your big Catan dealing unit, like 10 Plague Marines, for example, cool, there's still 2 more goddamn Catan floating around. Like, no, and like the Deceiver is an obnoxious prick. Toughness 11, 60, 1.5 knights on a 40mm base. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes complete sense. I hate the faction so much, and the faction being at the top of the game at the moment means that you're going to play it a lot. And I'll be honest with you, I was actually going to book the Sheffield UKTC Super Major at the end of this month, which is the 28th of March, 29th of March, because I said I want to get back into competitive. I want to take my Death Guard and try and, do well and get the rank up again. I'm not going anymore, because I can't be arsed with this, because it's not fun. It's just a fucking miserable game. I was hoping the Dataslate would come out and just make it Wild West. I don't care who became top. I don't care, I just didn't want to play Catan. I just really don't play Catan. And here's the thing, we're going to argue about fluff nerfs for Chaos Space Marines. Yeah, it's completely fluffy to have every single shard of a Catan in the battlefield. No, it's not. It's almost as fluffy as if an Ultramarines have every single named character in one battle. It doesn't make any sense. I'm moving on from Necrons. Fully expect Necrons to stay on top. Fully expect Catan to be everywhere. The only thing that's changed now is that they're going to take Awakened Dynasty. Yeah. Yes, Johnny, there's a perfect thing. It is literally the Tergrid deck from Magic. You look at someone who pulls it out and goes, I'm going to play Tergrid, and you go, no thanks, mate. I can't be arsed with it. I'll see you later. It's just not fun. Like, you play my deck and you just get stuff for free. It's just, whatever. Whatever. Necron's done. Orcs, again, no help at all, though. So, again, can't give these guys anything. Nope. Space Marines. So Lieutenant Economy Weapon goes up finally. Warrens of Ultramar goes up again, more than Catan. Now this unit was undercosted and still oppressive, but doesn't warp the meta. Like, Warrens of Ultramar were annoying to kill for their points and too cheap, but they didn't fundamentally go make every list have to go, hey, you need to plan to kill Warrens of Ultramar like Catan do. So it was better dealable. Repexes went up, Redemptors went up. It doesn't matter to Marines because they've got so many options. They'll just find the next most efficient tank. Kalgar, the model of him with 2 shield bros is dead, and old Chaos Zacharias is dead. That is actually quite a bit of a nerf to the army there. But again, fundamentally the problem remains. The problem with Space Marines is not they're good characters. They are very good and they are very strong. The core problem with Space Marines is +1 to wound oath is no longer necessary for this army. And Blades of Ultramar is just better Gladius, because you can reuse the same doctrine over and over again, which again, the whole point of Gladius was to have once per game use of doctrines. You're supposed to use them at the right time to get the most value out of them. And if you wasted it or used it wrong, well, that's on you. That's a player mistake, and you are punished for that by now losing that doctrine. But no, fuck that. Blades of Ultramar is just like, yeah, fuck it, just use it again, don't worry about it. So, Space Marines, no core changes. Will Iron Hands, so will this Kalgar being killed, will these points go up kill Ultramarines? No. Ultramarines are still going to be on top. They still have oaths +1 to wound. They still have access to the best attachment in the entire game, and they will continue to stranglehold this entire faction because Ultramarines are just not treated as a separate entity when they really need to be at this point. So yeah, enjoy that one, Space Marines. Space Wolves got nerfed because they were taking a combi lieutenant, so they went up 15 points. Again, another reason why Ultramarines should 100% be separated from everyone else, because Space Wolves weren't causing any problems. But again, I haven't seen any goddamn head takers. Could we not have, like, you know, give the head takers a little help here? Maybe just give the big 6-man like 10 points off. Just things like that, just to make it a bit more interesting, more fun. Tau got 10 points off stealth battles, as if anything Tau wasn't already criminally undercosted. But then we also decided to give them the twin bullshit. So, Twin Lance is possibly the biggest joke of a data sheet I've ever seen. I'll pull it up in a second. Let's just quickly finish. So yeah, Thousand Suns got the same. Again, this chicken nerf for Thousand Suns, they weren't really pulling in Thousand Suns, it was in Demons, but whatever. I guess they have to capture the nerf there. Tyranids, Tyranid Prime with Lash Whip, yeah, 85 points. Good joke, GW. Like, again, remember this: 85 points for this. 85 points for this. Okay. World Eater's got 5 points over 4 tree. Like, that does anything to list building. It's just, yeah. It's just, you know, whatever. And everything else is Legends. Who cares about that? Christopher Lara, Necrons have been busted for like 20 months for this edition. Very true. I volunteer as tribute to fight the entire balance team for the right to nerf Catan. I just want them nerfed. The thing is, they're just not fun. They commit the worst crime. They're not even just unbalanced. They're just unfun and game-warpingly unfun. And the game should always, like... Balance should be obviously made core for balance, but if there is a unit that is so miserable to the game, you should probably just get it out the game. Rework its rules, take a rule off it, make it less miserable to the game. And that would be fine. Like, I don't want to actually see Necrons get turned to F tier. I just want to see the unit that is basically fundamentally warping the entire game around it stop doing that. Whether that's through points, making them like Primarch cost, whether that's through rules, making them a bit easier to deal with. Any of them, just having to play games against units and just literally open up the pairings thing and go, I brought VV to this event, oh, I'm against Catan, I've lost. The end. Like, I have a 20% chance to win this if he makes a massive fucking mistake. It's just not, it's not great. It really doesn't feel good. Right, Twin Lance, let's do this. So, Tau Empire got a new unit, the Twin Lance. So, this thing, you can see how many rules it has. So, it is 2 models. I'm not going to go through it because we all know it. It's ridiculous. Deep Strike, Scout. So, 1 rule, 2 rule. Has sustained and ignores cover. So, that's 4 rules. Has -1 to be charged. 5 rules. Causes battle shocks. Doesn't require line of sight or to be charged. 6 rules. Has a move at the end of a fight phase in both yours and their turn. 7 rules. So we have already got 7 rules on a data sheet. 7 rules on a data sheet. And then it has guns, as Tau is expected. Nothing wrong with guns. Guns are fine. I expect guns for Tau. Also, ballistic skill 2 for Tau here. So, you know, normally, like, sometimes you might see ballistic skill 3. Depends if, like, a Superman character. But again, ballistic skill 2. I'm sort of fine with this. But then they can also melee. Okay. And they don't have a lack of attacks. They have 8 attacks at 612 and weapon skill 3 for some reason. And then you have the extra 3 and extra 1 of like these crazy things. So they can shoot good, they punch good, and then they disrupt your opponent by battle shock without even having to see them. They reduce charges, even though you don't have to even charge them to get the battle shock part of it. And then they have the end of game fight move, which again can either be up to 10 inches or 6 inches. Nothing has happened. So they just stand, exist, and we get to move an extra 6 inches. Even if you've not been in combat with them, even nothing's happened. It is an absurdly broken datasheet. And the thing that pisses me off, again, is GW, for some reason, can't get through their head that movement is the most powerful thing in the game. So we have a unit that scouts 8, moves 10, has access to all the Monka tricks, things like that, and also have this insane retro thrusters ability, yet we point it at 160 points. 160 points! You know, Tud, it's worse. It is a 6-inch move in the fight phase. If they've been in combat, and if they're in combat, it's a fallback move, which is actually up to 10 inches. So, what can happen is this example, speaking from experience. You can send a Chaos Spawn onto a middle objective because you got area denial and you also got, you got deploy locus and you got, what's the other thing called? The, secure no man's land. So you go, cool, right. I'm going to go into the middle of this spawn, and we'll start trades off. And then your opponent, from behind the wall, the little, like, piece of paper wall that we have, which is obscuring even though it's flat on the ground because UKTC, he goes, cool, take a battle shock test. I'm like, but you can't even see me and I'm not charging you. Doesn't fucking matter, mate. Take a battle shock test. The spawn fail. Cool. So I'll spawn at OC0, so I fail on my secondaries, and I don't hold that primary. Excellent. Then the Tau player goes, are you going to charge me? And I'm like, well, I'm not going to charge you, because if I do that, you know, I'm not going to fucking get anything from it. You're like fucking 8 away, and you'll make it into a 9, and then I'm just going to be behind your wall, and then you'll kill him for free and won't even have to expose anything. So he goes, okay, cool. I will now move 6 inches onto that objective at the end of your fight phase. So now in the opponent's command phase, they're on the objective. So now we actually hold primary. Okay, so he's denied me my secondaries, stopped me charging him. Now he's also stole primary off me. Then he's going to jump back past me. He's going to jump over the wall past my chaos spawn, shoot my guys that are behind the wall with ignores cover and sustained hits 1. He kills them. He then charges back into my chaos spawn, who do nothing to them because they're T6, 2 up, 4 up, 8 wounds each, and they get to kill one with their melee attacks. And then, because they're in combat, at the end of the fight phase, they get to make a 10-inch move and fuck off back behind their wall, ready to rinse and repeat. I have had Chaos Spawn killed. I have never had Chaos Spawn violated. Those spawn got used against me. They were a unit in his army, the amount he used them. What world are we on where this is 160 points? I'm drinking. I hate this. And the problem is, units like this annoy me because they upset my faith in GW. Because I actually think GW in general can do an okay job balancing. And some data slates have been absolutely banging. But then a unit like this comes out, and then we all say the same thing. Oh, it's obviously forced. It's forced because they want to sell the new model. So why does the Tyranid Prime suck ass? Why does the Votan Dwarf overcosted? None of them are even close to being as good as this. So we've gone away from now thinking it's just malicious to sell models, and instead the only thing we come to is they just are really bad at balancing the game and they're incompetent. Which, again, combined with the lack of changes to Catan, they are beautiful, Dave. They are beautiful. I will 100% say they're awesome. And again, if they were to pay decent points for these, sure, like that's, you know, alright, cool. They do look awesome, and I think they're cool models, and they will be cool additions. But again, man, are we just incompetent at balancing this? Like, is that it? Are we just stupid? Because there's no way. Right, okay, so chat. Everyone in chat right now. If I showed you this data sheet, would any of you said 160 points? Because I don't think anyone would have said 160 points. So where did they get that number from? Are they just throwing darts at a board? You know, is it like 180, but he scuffed the last shot and only got 40 instead of 60? Like, he only doubled the 20 instead of tripling the 20. I don't understand it. Now, look, does this mean that Tau go fundamentally broken? I don't know, because the one saving grace is it is a epic hero. So there won't be 3 of them in a list, but they will be in every single list. And they're going to be extremely, extremely annoying to deal with. So I don't know if it fully makes Tau like a best army. A lot of people saying Tau jump instantly to best army game. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But it definitely is a help for them. And look, I'm cool for Tau to have a good model and a good unit. And I'm even kind of okay with them having this like semi-okay melee. But I worry because is this like an indication of where 11th's going, where every character model is going to have like what did I say, 7 abilities? Because I've said in my previous videos, I worry about the creep going into the next edition, because I don't want us to constantly power creep the game, because obviously it's not a full, well, as far as we're aware, and the rumour is it's not a full edition reset, so factions and codexes will roll over. So you have to make them want to buy the new models and buy the new rules. So, like, again, is this where all the models are going? Because if that's the case, I don't actually think I'm hyped for that. Like, would it be cool to see more Tarium with like 15 abilities? Like, of course it would be, but if everyone's doing that, God, that's going to be awful. That's going to be such a messy game of just absolute nonsenses. So, I don't know. Like, the entire data slate was just a bit of a bum. because it's just I think that honestly, the biggest crime of this data slate isn't even the balance. The balance is terrible, and I'll say that right now, in my opinion, obviously. The problem with data slate is, for 90% of factions, it might as well not have happened. It just didn't happen. It's boring. And that's the biggest crime of all. This data slate was boring as hell. I didn't even... Normally, every time the data slate, I'd stream on the day. On the day. I didn't this time. I waited for today. Why? Boring. Because what am I going to tell you guys? The meta hasn't changed. Maybe Tau show up. He's still playing against Catan. He's still playing against Marines. Did our list change? No. Did most of the game change? No. What's there to be excited about? It's just a really sad way to end an edition. Like I said, I wanted a reason to go to Sheffield. I thought, man, they're gonna nerf Necrons in this data slate. They're gonna nerf Marines. It's gonna be like, there's always that first month after a data slate where everything's a bit wild and people are trying all these cool things out. So it's like Sheffield's gonna be mint, and then they didn't do anything. And now Sheffield's gonna be the same as the last 3 months, except there'll be one less Locust Destroyer. That's it. And I'm just not hyped in playing that game at the moment, and it sucks because I don't even think it's potentially Trevelix. I think it is the worst data slate of the edition because it not only had a meta to fix, and it failed to do that, but it also, for 90% of the factions, just didn't even happen. It was just non-existent. This data slate is a nombo. Now the cool thing is, I have got something to keep my pet. I am going to take my Votan to an event, which is really cool because it's the first time I've ever took another army to an event. So I'm hyped to just try something new. So that's something that's kind of making me excited. But I will say, what a shit way to see an edition out. What an absolute poo way to just end an edition. It's just, I don't know. We could have had anything. You could have made this crazy as hell. You could have just been like, I don't know, all enhancements are free. Just anything. Just shove something stupid out there. But instead it's just boring. Which is just worse than bad. 90% of factions got literally nothing. And again, I understand most of the team is probably in 11th edition. So the hope is that with all the team in 11th edition, that's why this is so shit. Which means when 11th edition rolls around, it should be banging. I am hyped as hell. So I just want to say to everyone in chat, sorry for being negative. I do, but again, I will always be honest with the fellas in chat. I will call out GW when they do well, call out GW when they do bad. And again, I try to stay as honest as possible. But I understand Treble. I actually, in a weird way, Treble, it's made me nervous, but also sort of okay, maybe they are just putting the full focus to 11. So maybe there's a bit more of a redeeming factor there. But it's just, I don't know. I would love to have had 11th edition just go out on a high note. And I feel like right now, a lot of people, I think in the chat, are also going to say this as well, is I am not actively looking for events to 11th edition now. I obviously will for the channel. I'll look for RTTs and I'll go to stuff at Element Games because it's just down the road. But I will say, the thought of me going to a super major in the current game is just... I'm not going to force myself to do it. I don't mean anything against you guys because I don't want to punish you guys for content-wise. But it's just a bit poo. It's just a little poo. Hey, Aiden, you crack the cup. Nurgle sippy cup. This is why I need Will and Dave to give me a breather every so often. They were busy writing the Demons Codex. You cracked the code. The team took but left the AdMech and Death Guard Index release writers to do the points. Maybe look, you two, you're not allowed. You're banned from writing codexes and indexes. Get out of here. Just go do the points or something. And they still fucked that up. So, look, this Twin Lance is fundamentally broken. One thing I will say is, at least how we're going to get to have some fun. Because if this thing wasn't fundamentally broken, this thing was bad, just the Dwarf, and the Dwarf's not bad, he's just overcosted, and the Tyranid Prime, then they'd be just as bored as us. So at least, one faction gets to enjoy something from this data slate. So, you know what, Tau? If this means that Tau can go and beat up Catan, all the power to us, because for the rest of us, nothing's changed. Space Wolves, nothing changed. Black Temple, nothing changed. All the rest of us was going to be bored out of goddamn mind. So, yeah, I mean, we do... So, again, we'll quickly talk about RTT list coming up. Sorry, the ramble went on for way longer than I thought it would. But I think, yeah, Age of Sigmar. I have actually bought. I did actually buy some Age of Sigmar. I'm doing the Spearhead. So I've actually got my Caradrons. I've been painting my Zeppelin. So my Zeppelin. See, I got a Zeppelin. Just got to do the windows on it and stuff. So I have a Zeppelin to play Spearhead with Natalie, who has a very lovely painted Sylvaneth Spearhead, and she's just started working on a Flesh Eater Quartz one as well. But I also bought some of the new Putrid Blight Kings because I want to do the Nurgle Spearhead, but I want to use the new Blight Kings instead of the old Blight Kings. So I'm making it from the parts myself rather than buying the Spearhead box. But I've already told you about the Plague Bearers and things like that. So that's going to be quite cool. Now, in terms of the RTT list coming up, I'm obviously taking Votan to one of them. But for the Death Guard one, I was going to take, and I still probably am going to, I was going to take this very elite Morty list that's been going around where we have Mortarion, 10 Blight Lords, the Plague Marine brick inside the Rhino, and then outside that it's just like a couple of drones and then like some spawn. It's super elite. It's Mortarion Demon Prince. It's super elite. There's no Death Shroud at all. There's not many units at all. And I was going to give it a go because it has been doing well in UK TC terrain in the UK, obviously. So I did want to give that a whirl. Now, again, I was hoping to take it to Super Major, but now I don't know, guys. Would you still want me to like play that and sort of try it out? Because I know there's a lot of people that are probably interested in a list that's super hyper elite like that. Obviously makes use of Morty. But at the same time, I'm not interested in going to Super Majors anymore. So I don't really know what to do. Whether I should just instead take, like, again, I have a Teams tournament coming in May, which I can't back out of, and I'm obviously not going to do that because Teams is Teams. I'm not going to let my team down. But I might take Shambler out to Teams, you know. I might just be like, hey, everyone's preparing to kill Catan. Here's 120 Poxwalkers. Have fun with that. I might take the 100 Poxwalker, 14 tank list. That could be quite fun. Well, yeah, this is the other thing, Tud. That's what I mean. It's just like, you know. So there's kind of like a mixture in my head. Again, I don't want to not play Death Guard because obviously I can't be the Death Guard channel and not play Death Guard. But like I will say, I am more hyped to take my Votan to this RTT than I am the Death Guard to the event, and it's only because I was hoping for someone to come in this thing to make maybe a bit more excited. But I would probably have a lot of fun. I mean, I could. If I had enough demons for Plague Legion demons, I could do that. That would be pretty cool. So I am happy to play the Mortarion Blight Lords list for a research purpose, not research purpose, but just so I get more to grips with it, so that you guys can have the the best experience from that, and you can pick up tricks on that. Because I have had the video ready to go for a while now, but I don't like doing videos if I don't have the practice on the list, because I don't like being one of those channels that talks about things I don't actually play, because we've all seen that before, and nobody wants that. I don't want to talk hypothetically about a list. I want to talk about it after I've played it and I've had, reps with it, and I've gotten to understand how it ticks and what makes it work. And Craig Bedford has been a legend for helping me out. He's been messaging me, letting me know how to sort of play it and approach it. And I probably still end up taking it to RTT. The more I think about it, so this is the thing. When I start talking to myself in my head, I get excited for it again, because I love Death Guard. I do. I really do love Death Guard. It's not Death Guard. The Death Guard isn't the problem. Like, the idea of that list is like, yeah. True, actually, exact vacation. I do actually owe you guys a hammer. We could finish it off. We could maybe finish it off. We could finish the detachment challenge off with hammer. That is something we could do. What do you reckon, guys? I might put a poll up in. We've got till the Death Guard RT is on Monday, so we've got till Saturday to submit, I think it is. So we've got some time to think. But I mean, we could do the hammer to finish off the detachment challenge. It's the only one we've got left. We could take the Morty Blight Lord list, which is more of a meta list. So I don't know if you guys want me to take the off meta thing, or you want me to take the meta thing, and that is interesting. That is interesting. I will be taking Votan to one of them though. That is 100% happening. Because I've been painting my stuff up and I really wanted to get them played. I'm even playing with unpainted models, so yeah. So we'll have to see. I only have one Hellbrute, I'm afraid. I couldn't do the triple Hellbrute. 3 PPCs, let's go. I'll tell you what, I will put a poll up in the Discord for people to vote on then, if we're going to take hammer, or if we're going to take the if we'll take the Morty list. So there's no time for the default to drop for these. I will, obviously, there'll be more RTTs in between here and there. I think that's probably what I'm going to do until 11th drops. I'm probably just going to stick to RTTs, little local GTs, because I will, like, it depends when 11th comes out. I always go to Leeds UKTC because it's just down the road. We have another summer Manchester UKTC event. I think 11th should be out there by then, but it might not be. Who knows? Maybe the shadows drop a nerf to Necrons after the data doesn't change for like 3 weeks. Maybe we'll see. No Step on Snack, thank you very much for these $5 super chat. The only excitement I have for the remainder of 10th is hoping GDO is going to undercost the Defiler. True. Hopefully the Defiler will be just as broken as Twin Lance. Again, if the Defiler comes out, it might rekindle some hope and some fire, which would be really cool to see. So, yeah, there is that. I'll put up a vote for you guys and let you see. Connor Petrie, 1972, thank you so much for coming to play with me, mate. I really appreciate the support, you absolute legend. Make sure you go to our channel homepage. There'll be a button that says See Perks. Click that, you'll get the link to join Discord. Once you're in the Discord, go to your Discord settings and connect it to your YouTube. And then you'll unlock the full server. And thank you so much. If you have any issues, tag any of us or any of the mods on that server as well. And thank you so much for the support, mate. And welcome to the Plague Marine Legion. Look, everyone knows I don't really like Hammer, but I'll play a Hammer, but I'm going to play it my way. It won't be a traditional Hammer list. I'm thinking it'd be like rhinos busting through walls and just dropping out Plague Marines and blowing people away. That might be something I'd be interested in. Free PBCs and the edition as you started it. True. PBC's hard carried that index so badly. Imagine if I could run the index list, the very first list I ever ran this edition, in Mortarian's Hammer as the final one. That would be really, really fun. That would be funny. So yeah, I'll put that up for votes, but it is sad. It is sad to see the edition go out on a whimper. It really is. It's sad. And I think a lot of people right now are probably just going to be focusing on hobbying. I don't blame you, which is really cool. You know, I'm painting some Votan, just getting them up nicely orange, because, you know, orange is pretty cooked. That's what I mean. Plague busting through walls. Plague busting. I get it. Good job, Necros. Yeah, I miss PVCs at 162, mate. 100%. Them's was the days, as they like to say. So, yeah, I hope I haven't, like, put anyone down, though. I hope I haven't, like, made anyone feel, like, super negative about this edition, or, like, me not, like, I've annoyed people by saying I don't really want to go to, like, big events at the moment. I hope that hasn't been, like, how this has been taken. Obviously, I've been a bit ranty. I always do get a bit ranty when it comes to these things. I try to keep it, like, on point, though, and not just mindless rambling, even though everyone loves a good ramble. I don't know. I had a lot of hope for this data slate, and it missed, like, the problem is it didn't just miss, like, one area, it missed everything. Man, it definitely was a data slate. It was definitely a data slate. That is for sure. True, Birchie. True, Orcs are screwed. Everyone knows that if you're in the starter box and you're not the Space Marine side, you are screwed for the edition. So, rest in peace, Orcs, who are already struggling. So, Orcs, enjoy your 3 months of being good when you get the first codex, and after that, back to the bottom. Back to bin tier. I'm like I said, I still love 40k. I still am excited for, like, certain things. I'm just not excited to play high-end competitive, because the thing is, like, at little RTTs, you don't tend to see mass things. Ollie Steele, Taliban is sick at the moment. Taliban is one of the best win rates into Catan. So I could just, like, do that. I could just, like, take Taliban. I do love Taliban. But I don't know. I'm not super hyped to play right now. In the nicest way possible, outside of, like, small or local events. I don't have the drive to want to travel hours to go to an event and spend money to stay in a hotel and things like that. Just because the game's not hype. Yeah, the new War Boss. I have seen some of the new Orc stuff. Let's go find it real quickly. There he is. Can I be honest with you guys? I don't really like it. And I don't even fully know why. So to me, it just looks too much like a fantasy orc, like an old world orc. And a lot of people, that's probably, like, nostalgic and awesome. But, like, the power claw's sick, like the gun, but, like, it's just the chest and stuff. I don't know what it is. I just looked at it, I was like, it's alright. Like this one's like armor's a bit better, but I hate the axe. Like the axe just looks wrong. Like that's not a chopper. That is like it looks more like a space wolf weapon. Weirdly, I'm sure there's Orc players out there that think it's like really cool. The grot is cool. The grot is cool. He did steal a tactical rock. He has again. Orcs have found rocks. Orcs have found rocks. I don't know what it is. I feel like this face here is more 40k. Like with like the big iron jaw. Like I love that look. But like this one down here, I don't know. It just screams like old fan. It's like Black Orcs, which is cool in a way. But I don't know. Like I like my Black Orcs in fantasy, not in like 40k. And I've never been. If I'm being honest with you guys, and please don't hate me for this, I've never been a massive Orc fan anyway. Just generically, I'm just not the biggest Orc fan in the world. I think they're funny. But like, and it's not an army I'd ever collect myself. But it's cool to see them get an upgrade, and this to me confirms that they're going to be the first big bads of next edition, which we already kind of do already anyway. So yeah, I'm expecting to see Orcs and the starter box, and again we got some more rumors come out today. There's some more bits. There's a guy in a motorbike, yeah, like this little dude. That's funny. This looks to me like a new Meganobs, which actually would be really cool. And then this gun here is obviously like a loaded Daka here. So I'm hoping they're cool. I really, really hope they're cool. Yeah, nothing against Orc players. Like again, I don't dislike Orcs for being Orcs. I'm just not. It doesn't like appeal to me. I feel like you either love Orcs or you don't like them. But it's not like I hate Orcs. Like my hatred for Necrons is like not the same. I don't like Orcs, but I don't hate them. It's just not an army for me. Whereas Necrons, I actively hate that army. I despise that army. But that's fundamentally from a design perspective as well. Again, I think Necrons could be done so much more interesting. Just getting away from reanimation protocols being their entire identity, please. Yeah. Her mech orc list is like 18 killer cans, 3 death dreads, 3 points bubble chuggers. Hell, see, that's fun. That is fun, and that's what I like about that. I love seeing weird things, and that's what I mean. That's why I hate the meta right now. There's no creativity. It's just, oh look, more fucking Catan. Woo. It hurts me. Yeah, like I said, Orcs are cool. I love Orcs. See, the thing is, like, I don't even like. I make jokes on Tau, but when I got into this game because of a friend who got into Tau when I started. So we both went into GW. He got Tau. I got Chaos Space Marines and Tyranids and other things. And we played games, and I actually had a lot of fun when he was playing his Tau and stuff like that. Because again, when you're new, everything's fun anyway. But like it just when it becomes more optimized and people like far better at staying away from you and stuff like that, it always. Competitive can ruin the fun sometimes, just being a goober with your friends, but you know, it is the double-edged sword, isn't it? Like, I wish the Tau player would not keep falling back from me, but hey-ho. It is what it is. So, yeah, I think that's probably going to be all we're sort of going to wrap up for tonight, because my throat is starting to get a little painful for having Will and Dave here. So, yeah, I'll put the poll up in chat to see what type of Death Guard list we take to the event. I'll post, obviously, I will do an event recap for them. So, would you guys be interested in the Votan recap? That's the only thing I'll ask you, really. Because obviously I know it's not Death Guard related content, but I can put a beard on. I can pretend to wear a big beard and pretend I'm a dwarf. I can, like, you know, put myself even further down the camera, maybe just see my eyes at the bottom of the screen here, and just yell really loudly about dwarven things into the microphone. That'd be pretty fun. But if you're not interested in Votan recap, obviously I understand it. We are not a Votan channel, so yeah, I obviously will do one for the Death Guard though, regardless, because obviously that's a lot of people do like that content. But yeah, sad way to see the edition out, unfortunately. That's really all we've got to say on it. So if you are looking to still play and still go to competitive and do the best you can, prepare for maybe Tau showing up now. Outside of that, same old. Prepare for Catan. Stop playing VV if you want to do well at events, because you're basically praying you don't get paired into a Catan. You know, I can redo the graphic. I can make the graphics blue and put Votan artwork in the back. That's not a problem. The diggiest hole podcast. Hell yeah, diggy hole. What about elves? Oh yeah, you know me. I love elves. Love elves so much. Definitely won't just spend an entire stream screaming profanity about elves if I was playing a dwarves. But yeah, so I think I'm going to love yous and leave yous there for now, guys. thank you for tuning in tonight. Thank you for joining the chat. And again, I don't want to be negative. That's it now. Dataslate rant's done. We're going to try and avoid the negativity. We're going to hopefully get some cool 11th edition reveals. We're going to start talking hype about that. We've got these events coming up. So we're going to talk about the RTTs and how we had fun at them. And hopefully don't play Necrons. But yeah, look, if you are playing the game still, power to you. Hopefully you guys are having fun with it still. If you're like me right now and just feeling a little like, right, you know, burnt out. So VV is just bad at killing Catan in general. Like, it just doesn't have the damage output to do it without exposing its entire army. Plague Marine Break with 4 rolls hit and wound does not kill it, because the Plague Marine's entire damage profile outside of your spike in the melters is damage 2, or damage 1 but really low strength, so you win on 6s with rerolls. So they match up really badly into Catan, and the problem with that matchup is you have no melee output increases at all, so your Death Stride is just wounding Raw Dog on 4s, which is really, really bad as well. And if you bounce, you lose that entire brick, and then everything goes downhill from there. It goes downhill so fast from there. Morty and Demon Prince can't really win Catan fights. You're sticking busy for a bit, but that's about it. You will go down. It's just horrendous. It's just not a good match. You don't have the expendable resources to play, like, you know, Denial Game, like you can in Taliban, for example. Champions does have the damage to kill, and that's really what it is. That's why, like, Champions is good, because that's got all the killing power. VV it's just not good into it. It just can't kill it. I'm going to do a sample list of 30 Plague Marines. That's fine. Yeah, we can do a Heavy Plague Marines sample list if that's what people want to see. We can do that. Nothing wrong there. They're okay. The problem is, Peter, they're still wounded on 4s. Only with 2 damage each. You got a 4 pin on a 5 funeral pain to get through. And you just expose all 3 bloat drones. So even, again, this is the problem. Even if you kill a Catan. So if you line up 3 bloat drones in your Plague Marines and kill a Catan, you then lose all of that. And there's still 2 more Catan. And that's the problem. Like, the Silent King's going to pop a drone with our mem in here. Doomsdart's going to pick up another drone or just blast your entire Plague Marine squad into non-existence. And another Catan's going to show up just to replace it. You lose far too much for the output required to kill it. And you can never trade well. And that is the biggest issue that we have. You just can't trade into those armies. It's grim. It's grim. It's grim. But yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I'm going to love you and leave you there. Hope you guys have a nice afternoon, morning, day, evening, wherever you are in the world. I'm going to go finish painting off some more Votan to try and get ready for this event coming up at weekend. And yeah, part of that, please do not let my rant tonight dissuade you from enjoying 40k if you're enjoying it. And if you're not, take a break. It's cool, it's fine. But we will have plenty of hype, interesting things to talk about when we start seeing some 11th edition previews, which will be awesome and coming very, very shortly. Until then, we will obviously keep giving you weekly content. I'm going to try and get some more videos out for you this week. Again, sorry about being behind. It has been Natalie's birthday. It's been Natalie's birthday week. This week is her birthday today as well. So that is awesome. So she's letting me stream on her birthday, so I'm not going to take too much longer. So everyone, you know, respect for Natalie for letting us do that. But yeah, so for now, guys, really appreciate you all being here. I really appreciate all the support. And again, even for understanding my negativity and sort of like being like, hey, it's cool, man, don't worry about it. Get your feelings out. Really appreciate you guys massively. And let's keep going. Not long now, couple more months for that new edition, and then no doubt we'll all be super hyped and excited again. And Kirby is here to tell me to wrap up. So on that point, hey buddy, take care, everybody. Stay rotten, and I will catch you all on the next episode of Disgustingly Resilient Podcast. Take care. Bye bye. Can we please nerf the Necrons? I'm so bored of this shit. I want to have a fun end to the edition while I get hyped for 11th. But you ruined it with Necrons.
Navigators lost to the shadowed lie, a fleet adrift beneath a darkened sky. The warp's cruel grasp, unyielding and tight. Chaos awaits in the endless night. Whispers of power, a pestilent tide. Mortarian's pride, with nowhere to hide. The destroyer plague, a grim reward. Nurgle's life. his side. Through agony storm, their oaths collide. Grandfather's hand, the pact is sealed. The legion reborn, their fate revealed. Lies in the armor, rot in the soul. A Primarch remade, his heart grow cold. In terror's shadow, their war drums beat. Pestilent warriors, no chance of retreat. Through breach and ruin, their banners fly. With death's embrace, they'll never die. The Lion's Gate, where hope was torn. Jagged eyes, blade meets the Playboy. Bound by decay, they rise in his name. The death god transformed, never the same. Plague-born sons with torment they bled, shambling forth where angels fear to tread. Typhus herald, chaos born, Mortarian's wrath, the plague sworn. In the warp, their legacy thrives, eternal servants where corruption lies. Mortarians fall, Typhus ascends, the death god song, it never ends.